Welcome to The Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. This is a little bit of a different subject matter, but I just read a story today that it moved me. And I just wanted to share my thoughts about it. There has been a lot that has been going on in this world. We are dealing with a global pandemic, and that can take a mental toll on people. And I know that especially within our Black and brown communities, we're already at a deficit when it comes to dealing with mental health. So I want to kind of zero in on our Black men, because Black men have truly been through so much over generations, decades, these past couple of years, that we have seen very public killings, as if we're living in the days of slavery. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Seeing the George Floyd murder, Ahmaud Arbery murder, just all of these things so public, so callous, so cold, so disconnected, as if you are not human, as if you are not a man. Almost like going back to being 3/5 of a man, right? These are things that have happened in this country, where you have had written paperwork calling someone 3/5 of a person. That's a whole other thing for another day. But as I said, I read an article today, or saw the news today, and it moved me because, if you guys remember, before me moving to the Atlanta area, I used to live in the DMV area, which of course consists of Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. And the Maryland mayor, I believe he's the mayor of Hyattsville. And if anybody knows the city of Hyattsville, it's a very artsy area, especially along Route 1. There's all of these new condos and buildings and townhouses, and it's a very community-oriented area. I've definitely shopped there a lot. I've had several friends who have lived their owned homes there, still reside there to this day. So I'm reading this article about Mayor Kevin Ward, who was the mayor of Hyattsville, Maryland, and apparently suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and he took his life. 44 years old. He's the mayor of a well-known city in Maryland, thriving. This is what we see on the outside, but you never know what people are going through on the inside. And I know that Black men especially have suffered so much. And it's not that other people have not. Let me just be clear. I know I have listeners from all walks of life. I'm not excluding you. I'm just zeroing in on Black men right now. Okay? So this is not an exclusion of other people. I'm just concentrating on my Black brothers at this moment. I don't know if you will hear it from other people, but you are loved. You are worthy. You are needed. And I don't care what's going on in this world or what it is people say you are. You are appreciated. This story struck me not only because I have a long history of, living in the DMV area and know the area very well and familiar with the mayor, but it's just several days ago where actress Regina King, her son, I believe he was 26, and that seemed to have been an apparent suicide as well. And his name was Ian Alexander Jr. And that is so hard to take because, first of all, this is her only child. So can you imagine how she must feel, or any mother for that matter, would feel losing a child, let alone their only child, to something such as this? Can you imagine the person? Because I often hear mixed conversation on things like this. People tend to think that folks that take their own life are selfish, and why would they do that? And you don't understand what people may be going through. You have no idea what they're dealing with. No idea. And smiles, laughter sometimes is the biggest cover up for massive pain, as we have well seen. Like I said, I wrote a blog 10 years ago, almost coming up soon. 10 years ago, I did this blog February 2012. I believe it was 2012. Because Whitney Houston and Don Cornelius, I want to say they passed away within a week of each other. But it was a rough February, especially during like Black History Month and all of that. And I was just like, wow, two major musical giants, musical moguls in their own right. And it was just so sad to me that people could be so hurting and so desperate that they would make such a final decision like that. So I'm saying, not just to the Black community, but I'm pinpointing Black men because y'all have been going through it. And any of y'all who listen to this podcast, if you just happened upon this podcast, I'm glad that you did, because you need to know that you're appreciated. You need to know that you are loved. I don't care who told you that you're not loved. Don't believe it. That's that other person's problem. I don't care if it was your mama who told you. I don't care if it was your daddy who told you. I don't care if it's your significant other who told you. Know that you are appreciated, you are needed, you are loved, and God has a plan. But you got to stick around to see what that plan is. It may be tough. It may seem like it's so impossible, but I'm telling you, I don't want anyone, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter where you come from, I don't want anyone to feel like they have to end their life because they can't hang on. I don't want anyone to do that. But I'm specifically talking to my Black brothers right now, because you guys have really been going through it, especially on such a public scale. So I just wanted to share a resource for you guys specifically. And I actually follow this organization on Instagram because I feel like, sisters, y'all need to. You got that brother in your life, whether it's your father, whether it's your significant other, whether it's your uncle, your brother, whatever it is, your son. This resource is amazing. I believe they're based out of New York, but I believe it's a husband and wife who run it. But I follow them on Instagram, and I encourage you to do so as well, because they definitely bring a lot of support to the Black community in general, but especially to Black men. So I want to give you this resource, and then I'm going to end this episode. It is therapyforblackmen.org. Okay, so if you go to their website, you're going to see a plethora of information. So much information. So therapyforblackmen.org. And they are also Therapy for Black Men on Instagram. Let me just make sure of the Instagram. Yeah, Therapy for Black Men. But the Black is spelled BLK. So Therapy for BLKMEN. So therapy spelled out FORBLKMEN on Instagram. And they have the best content. It's so great. Content, I know, is it zooms in on Black men, but anyone can benefit from it. You don't even have to be Black to benefit from it. If you're dealing with mental health issues, or you have, people in your life who are dealing with mental health issues, we all deal with stuff all the time. But there's something about anxiety. There's something about depression. There's something about bipolar, and any of these others. I'm saying those three because those seem to be the most talked about ones these days. Some people can't just pull themselves out of being sad. Depression is not about just being sad. Anxiety is not just about being nervous about something. It's much more than that. And a lot of times it takes you going to get a physical, like going to your primary care physician and getting a physical so you can see what's happening, for them to take your blood and run all your levels and to see what's happening, because a lot of it is internal, and it manifests itself that way too. You start having all these aches and pains and things in the stomach and digestive issues, and all of these different things contribute. They all link into each other. So I am not excluding anyone. I am just zoning in on this particular group today, because those two stories just struck me, and I didn't feel like I could just go on into another subject matter, especially seeing that story this morning, without addressing it. I do tend to address some personal things here and there, and outside of business stuff, I try to keep this well-rounded, but the podcast is about lifestyle branding and marketing, but I am human and I do have a life, you know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure that I do speak about these things as well. And especially as entrepreneurs, we also suffer depression at very high rates, being business owners, because a lot of times being an entrepreneur, it's a solo type life. People don't go through all the ups and downs with you. Even if you're in a relationship, married or whatever, you still often, if you're not a business owner along with your significant other, you're often by yourself, making a lot of decisions on your own, failing by yourself. Yes, winning by yourself, but there's a lot of fails too. And it can definitely take a toll, So, my Black men, I salute y'all. I definitely support y'all. And therapyforblackmen.org is amazing. I'm telling you. And they also have a phone number as well. So let me give you the phone number. They're open 7 days a week. The phone line is open 7 days a week. When you talk to them, you can find out if their actual location is open, because I know COVID may skew that, but they're open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And this is Eastern time. So even if you're not, on the East Coast and you want to contact them, you can. Their phone number is 646-780-8278. That's 646-780-8278. Therapyforblackmen.org. And I tell you, it has so much information. There's a list of therapists, coaches, there's resources on there, more contact information, and you can read up about them, but definitely follow them on Instagram, because I have found them very helpful. Even for my own personal things, it's very helpful. So definitely check them out. And please, before you make such a final decision, reach out. Reach out and ask for help. Somebody that you really trust, that you feel can, give you some good feedback. It's so important. We all need to have each other's back, just as human beings. I don't care where you're from. We need to have each other's back better than we have been. And yes, we need to be our brother's keeper. Definitely. If you want to connect with me, definitely Instagram is the place. It's my most active social media, at Onyx Queen Media. And if you want to email me, feel free. hello@onyxqueenmedia.com. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.